Stephen A., obviously when he made the move to Golden State, you were critical at the time. Did that move create more harm than good in terms of Kevin's legacy?
No, I don't believe that. I believe that he is a champion.
Yep.
He's a two-time champion and a two-time NBA Finals MVP. We can make a whole bunch of noise about Kevin Durant, but ultimately, at the end of the day, he has 2 titles, and he's going to be in the Hall of Fame. He's one of the greatest players who have ever played this game.
Top 75 players.
That's right. I don't give a damn what they say. You can't take that away from him. It would have been worse. Again, did I think the move was weak for a superstar? Yes. But why did I say that? Because they were up 3-1. They lost. And the team they lost to after being up 3-1 on them in the conference finals is the team he joined a month later. That's why I thought it was weak. I've never deviated from that, but I didn't mean for people to interpret it as if there's a reason to question his greatness.
Right.
I was saying because he was so great, he so drastically tipped the scales and the balance of power that it, that it wasn't even competitive that year. It was the one time, Big Perk and Shannon, I sat up there, and I obviously for personal reasons with my mom at the time and stuff like that, but it was also one of the biggest reasons that I barely cared about the NBA that season because it was a foregone conclusion what was going to happen because nobody was close. It just eradicated competition, and I love to see competition. But having said all of that, that doesn't mean you look at Kevin Durant and you say, well, you go to Golden State, that's the worst thing that you could possibly done because you would have never gotten credit. I could sit up there and say, well, all right, well, if he hadn't gone to Golden State, he wouldn't have rings.
Right.
And if he doesn't have rings, it would be an even greater indictment. It would be even worse for him.
Sure.
Because we know the things. Remember, Perk knows this better than anybody. Kevin Durant's his former teammate. We all thought initially it was just about Russell Westbrook and wanting to play the right way or whatever. The primary reason Kevin Durant was going from OKC is because of that dude, Sam Presti, who's obviously an exceptional executive, but Presti wasn't going to let him do some of the things he wanted to do. You go to Golden State. Well, you want that shine, but you ain't taking it from Steph Curry. You could have went to New York, and instead you let Kyrie Irving talk you into coming to Brooklyn, okay? And so then you go from there to Phoenix, and you ain't happy there either. There's nothing that we've seen from Kevin Durant is outside of his greatness as a scorer and as a basketball player. There's nothing we've seen from him that gives us a reason to believe the competition that was out there that would have stood in his way. Outside of staying in Oklahoma City with the team you had, there is nothing that we've seen that would have said to us, yo, going to Golden State was a mistake. Nothing. Nothing.
You know what? Look, I disagree with you. Let me tell you why, I say. It's for the simple fact that he didn't win the ring. He didn't have a championship before he went to Golden State, and he don't have one now since he departed from Golden State. If he would have stayed in Golden State, I strongly believe that Kevin Durant would have 4 or 5 championships and 4 finals MVPs.
Yeah.
When I think about Kevin Durant, no one is ever questioning his greatness. I've said this time and time again. I believe he's the greatest scorer to ever touch the damn basketball. When it comes to having 0 flaws offensively and being efficient, he's one of the best to ever do it, the best in my eyes. Some could argue Jordan, some could argue Steph, LeBron. That's a whole nother conversation. But my thing is, when you look at this situation, because he left, forget the fact that he joined them after blowing the 3-1 lead. I don't even care about that. But the fact that you left, knew that you needed to go get it done on your own. It's the same way with LeBron James. When LeBron James left Miami, he felt the need to go back to Cleveland because he needed to get it done outside of D. Wade and Bosh. And that's why if you ask him to this day, he's always going to go back and say that Cleveland championship means the most to me. Not because they was down 3-1 in the series, because he felt like he got it done on his own as the #1 guy. Yes, he had Kyrie Irving. Yes, he had Kevin Love, but those guys were young. At the end of the day, it's going to come down to this when it comes down to KD. Because KD said this year. He said, why am I not in the GOAT conversation? Didn't he say that? He said that on his own podcast. In order to be in the GOAT conversation, you got to do GOAT things, meaning getting it done by yourself. And he hasn't done that since he left Steph Curry. Those are facts.
Not literally get it done by himself. So you got to lead. He's got to be the reason, the guy.
Yeah.
This is really, really tough because, as Stephen A. says, if he doesn't have those championships, we look at Kevin Durant in a total different light. He's not thought of as the player he currently is. It's because he has those 2 rings. He has those 2 finals MVPs. But Perk, you said something. You said if he had stayed in Golden State, the reason why he didn't stay in Golden State because he was never going to be beloved. Even if he got 4, he's still not going to supersede Steph because he wasn't drafted there. It's the new addition in Johnny Gill. And you know, Johnny Gill could outsing them all, Perk. But he was not revered as new addition because he didn't grow up in Roxbury, Boston, with Ronnie, Bobby, Ricky, Mike. He didn't do it. So he was never going to get the appreciation for what he did. Kevin Durant was never going to get the appreciation in Golden State because they had already won without him. New Edition was already formed. They were already a top group before Johnny joined it. So no matter how long he stayed, it wasn't going to change. And you're right. He's going to have to go do it on his own, not win the whole, he's going to have to go somewhere. And he needs to win a title. Because you're right, that title in Cleveland means more to LeBron than the 2 in Miami, the 1 in Los Angeles, because he went back to where it originally started, and he got that one. Yeah, he got another one in the bubble, and you hear everybody say that was the most difficult one in the bubble. 90 straight days of isolation?
Yeah.
Man, I couldn't stay in my house 10 hours straight, let alone they were locked down for 3 months. Hell no.
Right.
But Kevin, look, I don't know where he can go, Stephen A. That he's gonna find peace.
That's what I'm sad about.
Wanna try to boast at what I look like. If I'm going try to wear, I pull up long range. Jimmy with the heat, I'm on fire. It's NBA on the list,